New England Indie Authors Collective presents Homebound for the Holidays, a holly jolly cradle-to-dreidel free live Zoom event featuring 5 local writers: Jason M. Rubin, Randy Ross, Jenny Pivor, Matt Robinson, and Judah Leblang, sharing stories about the holidays in 2020. The most wonderful time of the year? Maybe, or not so much. Come join us for a mostly humorous look at our holiday experiences both this year and in years past. Sunday, December 13, 2020, 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. Please join us.
Hi everyone, welcome to Homebound for the Holidays, another NEIAC production, and we welcome you to this celebration of the holidays in what has been a pretty tough year. So we've got some things in store and I hope you'll enjoy them. I'm opening this up with a little piece that I put together about my journey from menorahs to Christmas trees and back again. And it's a short piece I wrote about my life. It's called Both Sides Now, and maybe you'll relate, and I'll meet you on the other side. While growing up Jewish in a suburb that was half Jewish in Ohio, I developed an acute case of Christmas envy. I pined, no pun intended, for one of those magical, sparkling trees to sit in our living room. Maybe a white one with pink ornaments, as was popular then. But I never had the nerve to tell my parents, who might have boiled me in some chicken soup for such heresy. Our gold menorah with lions on each side had been brought over from Russia with my grandmother. She came here since the Jews were being persecuted in Russia, and observing the holidays was sacred. A privilege that she traveled halfway around the world to ensure. What more could I want? Actually, a lot. I wanted to visit that foreign country where my mother would make Christmas cookies instead of latkes, and I would have my family all around, just like pictures of those beautiful families on TV or in the movies. I longed for those magical twinkling lights, stockings on the mantle, sugar plums dancing in my head, and best of all, Santa Claus, the whole bit. But I never said a word. Instead, I spun the plastic dreidel they gave me in Sunday school, but to myself I said, "Are you kidding me?" Even as a child, I knew Christmas and Hanukkah weren't the same, but it felt like some weird competition. It felt like a joke on us. Hanukkah could never compare to all that excitement, not to mention the pretty new sweaters my classmates would be wearing to school as they returned from their Christmas holidays. But fast forward 20 years, and perhaps it was my Christmas envy that led me to marry a lapsed Catholic. I was excited that for the very first time I would get to decorate a tree, and I am ashamed to admit that it was on the plus list of reasons to marry him. We picked out a tree, hauled it into the living room, and decorated it with some of his ornaments and some handmade ones that we rigged up from transforming pieces from an old chess set into angels. That night, when it was done, my husband and I sat in the dark and watched the lights twinkle. We spent the holidays with his large family, and finally, I had joined a club that had always denied me membership. We all know the song by Joni Mitchell, and this one stanza sums up my feelings about the holidays. Since I've experienced the holidays from both sides now, nothing could be more fitting to sum up my experiences of Christmas and Hanukkah. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow, it's clouds' illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. So let me tell you what happened next.
What happened next is a trip to Israel. And going back lots of years when my son was bar mitzvahed, I took him to Israel as a gift, and it was like coming home. It was Christmas time here and Hanukkah time in Israel, and I've never experienced anything like that. From the moment I got off the plane, I felt like I was at home. People came up to me and asked me for directions, like I fit in there, and I'd been living there my whole life, and I realized that it was, in a way, my home. And at the hotel, there were no Christmas decorations. There were no Christmas decorations in the street. No one said, "Have a Merry Christmas." People said, "Happy Hanukkah" to you. And in the hotel, everyone met at sundown and brought menorahs and lit them together at a big table in the lobby. And it was beautiful. And people sang Hanukkah songs and ate jelly donuts. And it was lovely.
מעוז צור ישועתי, לך נאה לשבח. תיכון בתפילתי, ושם תודה נזבח. לעת תכין מטבח, מצרם נבח. פם 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 חנוכת המזבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח.
So once I discovered the joy and the beauty of Hanukkah in Israel, I was never the same. My Christmas envy just went psht. And when I came home, I almost swore at a woman in a grocery store that said to me, "Have a Merry Christmas, dear." Thankfully I didn't, but my pride was intact and my missing Israel was everywhere. Christmas was everywhere. The pervasive commercialism was overwhelming, and I longed for that beauty, that quiet, spiritual, lovely appreciation of a miracle that happened. And to this day, I'm lighting a menorah with joy and very happy about it. So what did I do with Christmas? So what happened is that my marriage to the lapsed Catholic didn't last. And after my trip to Israel, neither did my fascination with Christmas. I did learn a lot though, and I'm not inclined to have a tree for sure, but I do let myself have some of the sparkly stuff for the holidays that fascinates me so much. And I love the twinkling lights. And I do believe that that is universal, bringing light into what is a dark season, and especially this year, what has been a very, very dark year. So I have learned to love the holiday food. In my culture, the Hanukkah donuts as much as the Christmas cookies, and I have discovered a pride in my heritage that is not always easy in a culture like ours, but maybe you'll relate. And I'd like to pass this along to my colleagues, and I hope you enjoy their pieces too. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, I mean, in our society, Hanukkah can get a little bit overshadowed by Christmas, even though 10 years ago or so they were talking about the war on Christmas. But as much as I can tell, I think Christmas has survived the war, and it still exists. But anyways, regardless of whatever holidays you celebrate, hopefully you will enjoy them. Again, I think everyone has a tradition of bringing light into this dark time. And however we do it, I think it's a good thing. I just hung up some white lights here in my apartment for the first time ever that a friend brought over last night because I was bemoaning the darkness. So here we are trying to, in our ways, create some light in the middle of winter. So our next performer reader is actually me. So I guess to introduce myself, I'll say that Judah Leblang is a Medford-based writer. I hear his stuff is pretty good. And recently he came out with a memoir called Echoes of Jerry, One Man's Search for His Deaf Uncle and His Own Voice, which is about growing up with my deaf uncle. And then later on, I worked in the deaf community. And it kind of parallels deaf identity and gay identity. So anyways, that's a little bit about my background. And I'm gonna do two short pieces. One is kind of Christmas themed and the other is more of a spring break piece, but it also has Jewish content. So this one is called Jingle Bells, or How a Gay Jew Got into the Guinness Book of World Records by Singing Christmas Carols. Medford Square, November 2004. I squeezed through the gates into a 1-block square pen between Papa Gino's and Dunkin' Donuts in the center of Medford Square, with 3,000 or 4,000 of my neighbors, none of whom I know or recognize. Instead of the usual thrum of trucks rumbling over metal plates, of car horns and epithets, the square hums with Christmas music and amplified speeches, nary a moving car to be seen. After filling out a green card and providing my name, address, and age, I squirm into the holding area. Moving to one side, I have a good view of a giant screen provided by Comcast, on which the words for Jingle Bells, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and a host of other songs will soon be projected. The mayor, a silver-haired gentleman in a long coat who's been in office for 20 years, warms up the crowd. The tension is palpable as he rallies the masses, assuring us that we've already set a record for the most Christmas carolers in one place, beating Ontario's record of 1,500, as if the whole province were just one town. But to beat New York City, we will have to sing for 30 minutes straight. And when the mayor is finished, the MC reminds us that cameras will be watching and that everyone must sing for half an hour without stopping, must sing and keep singing until the all clear is given. And it's true, men with cameras strafe the crowd, and local TV is represented too, as I see trucks for Fox News, Channel 4, CBS, and others. We start with Jingle Bells, a song that was supposedly written a block from my condo in the heart of Medford Square. Then it's on to Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and later to more melancholy tunes like I'll Be Home for Christmas. Many of us are musically challenged, but guided by a Zoftig blonde with a powerful voice that carries through the square. We lurch from one song to another in continuous jerky rhythm. Though my file of Christmas memories is limited, I flash back to Bing Crosby and Bob Hope in some 1940s movie, of Jimmy Stewart running through Pottersville or Bedford Falls in It's a Wonderful Life, of my parents' old 78 LPs and Nat King Cole's smooth as silk version of a Christmas song. I look around as I sing, checking out my neighbors, young fathers chanting with their tiny kids, teenagers in packs, older Medford homeboys with baseball caps on backwards, senior citizens schmoozing on the edge of the crowd. I'm a single gay Jewish man in a mob full of families, of Christians. But I've got cause to celebrate too, 10 days off over Christmas break and the minor holiday of Hanukkah that recently yielded a check from my mother and a new camera from my brother. And so I wail until my voice grows crackly, deeper even than its normal baritone as we fa la la until the time is up and we've set the record and the crowd cheers and a huge snort of confetti blows out of a hole like an elephant's snout and the square is bathed in colored snow, paper slips dancing in the bright night. Then a huge 45 by 90 foot veterans flag is unfurled over the heads of the faithful and a strong-jawed member of the Massachusetts State Police takes the stage. Blue-gray uniform tight in the chest, gun at his side, white-gloved and buzz-cut. His deep vibrato struts through standards, from I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy to God Bless America, along with a medley of, get this, the Navy, Air Force, Army, Marine, and Coast Guard anthems. Did you know that the Coast Guard had an anthem? As patriotic fervor floats through the air, I search for a way out, squirming out of the pen as the caissons go rolling along. A short time later, I'm 2 blocks down the street in front of City Hall. Fruit baskets are lined up on long tables, prizes in some kind of raffle. A girl approaches me holding a white can, clinking with coins, and I contribute some change to her cheerleading squad. I headed over to scope out the alderman's chambers, which according to the MC are full of Christmas trees decorated by the locals. I feel kind of strange, exhilarated by the music, the lights, the noise, my throat dry and achy, and still a bit distant, disconnected. Looking up, I notice a wooden platform set up in front of the building. A DJ is playing generic pop music, a Radio Disney banner hangs over his head. Behind him on the stage, for no reason I can discern as the holiday hasn't started yet, is a Hanukkah menorah, slim and metallic, its bulbs without light, lost in the hubbub. A Magen David, the Jewish star, rises up from the center of the menorah. I feel a quiet kinship with that star, which stands invisible, unseen in the crowd, like me. So that's my Christmas story. That was on New Hampshire Public Radio and some other places on Christmas. And this piece is called What Would He Do? This is a true story, and this takes place in North Florida, which if any of you have been to South Florida, it's not that. North Florida is the South. I'd reached the age where a baseball cap had become part of my fashion statement, an easy way of covering the yarmulke-sized bald spot that had appeared on my crown like an unwanted dinner guest. Shocked and displeased, I chose Chief Wahoo, the mascot of my beloved Cleveland Indians, over a bottle of Rogaine and began wearing the hat on a daily basis as I bopped around Boston. You see, though I've lived in Massachusetts for the last 30 years, I've never transferred my allegiance to the Red Sox. So in March of 2000, I arrived down in Jacksonville, Florida for spring vacation, a much needed break from the howling winds and wet snow of New England winter, which typically lasts until mid-April. Going to Jacksonville was like going home. You see, over the course of a decade, I've made annual visits to the house my friend Mitchell shares with his male partner, Lee, a naval administrator. Don't ask, don't tell. Though I find some aspects of Jacksonville life a bit foreign, bumper stickers that say, "Go Jesus, he's number one," pickup trucks in every color dreamed of by man, often with gun racks, women with beehive hairdos that list to one side and threaten small children, large dogs named Buster or Bo, and greasy fried foods, I take it all in stride. You see, when I'm in North Florida, I'm on vacation. And given that condition, I'm prone to walk slowly, talk softly, and ask passerby, just like the locals, "How you all doing?" But I didn't know just how well I could blend into the local scenery until years ago when I landed at Jacksonville International and quickly realized I'd forgotten my favorite cap back home. On my first full day in town, I headed out Beach Boulevard toward Atlantic Beach and Ponte Vedra, searching for an Odd Lots or Walmart in one of the countless strip malls that line the city streets like the crowd at a Florida Gators Georgia Bulldogs football game. Eventually, I came upon a mom and pop operation, Sandy Sailorama or something, a linoleum floored and pink pastel walled emporium of everything from toilet paper to lingerie. Unfortunately, it was late in the season, and the only cap I could find was a white painter style number with the letters WWJD displayed above the brim in bold black print. I picked up the cap, popped it on my head, plunked down $2, and headed out, protected, into the Florida sun. Arriving back at my friend Mitchell's house a few hours later, I asked him if he knew of this local radio station. "Never heard of it," he said, "but those discount stores get merchandise from all over the country. It's probably some low power station in Georgia or Alabama. It didn't really matter as long as I could shield my alabaster skin from the power of Mother Nature. Wearing my new cap constantly, pleased with bagging a bargain, I walked around town. Now, folks seemed even warmer than usual, and Jacksonville had always seemed to me a singularly friendly place. As I prepared to head back to Boston, I carefully packed up my Florida souvenirs, new shoes from the outlet mall in St. Augustine, a rainbow-colored t-shirt from the Gay store in Riverside, Jacksonville's tiny arts district, and my favorite white hat. Several weeks later, I was walking around my neighborhood in Somerville, chatting with my friend Kathleen, who was enrolled in a graduate program at Harvard Divinity School. I'm doing a research project on this movement within Christianity that's based on a book written back in the 1890s, she said. It spawned a huge movement in the country among today's Christians. I said. I wasn't terribly interested in the antics of fundamentalist Christians unless they threatened my freedom as a gay Jew. It's very interesting, she said. This minister back in Ohio was trying to get people to come to his Sunday night sermons. So he created this ongoing story about 5 people who decided to live for a full year by the credo, what would Jesus do? You see, the minister, was trying to boost sermons, and after a while he was packing in the crowds. Yeah, but that was 100 years ago, I said. The minister wrote a book. The book is back in print, and now it's turned into this whole movement of people asking themselves, what would Jesus do? You see WWJD on billboards, bumper stickers, billboards, caps. What? WWJD, you said? I walked back to my car, where my cap, which had been resting in the back seat, had mysteriously disappeared. I was sad to see it go, though it had obviously served its purpose. For a week, I'd been protected and passed safely through the land of the moral majority unscathed. It certainly beat wearing a yarmulke. Thank you. So, truth can be stranger than fiction. So anyways, thank you for that. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and I want to introduce Randy Ross. Randy is a novelist, performer, and general man about town, and he's going to be sharing a piece on creating Chinese food at home, and basically like the Galloping Gourmet. So there you go.
Great. Thanks, Judah. So the reason I'm doing this bit on Chinese food is what do Jews do Christmas Eve? Jews I know, we all go out for Chinese food, but that's not happening this year. So I'm going to show you how to make Chinese food at home. And this is a semi-original recipe called Somerville beef with oyster sauce. Okay, key things. This is going to be easy and fast. So the ingredients are all stuff you'll find at your local supermarket. You may need to wander into the international aisle for a couple things such as sesame oil and oyster sauce, but the rest of the stuff's going to be in the normal sections of your grocery store. So you're going to need some cornstarch, you're going to need some garlic, you're going to need some teriyaki sauce. I'm recommending you use peanut oil. You can also use canola oil, but peanut oil has a better flavor. You don't want to use olive oil because we're going to be cooking at a high temperature. Timetable, so there's going to be up 15 minutes of preparation. 2 hours, you're going to marinate the beef. I usually let it marinate overnight, but if you're in a hurry, you can just do it in 2 hours. And then about 20 minutes of cooking time. And again, I mentioned it was going to be easy and simple. So no project management software, no spreadsheets, hopefully no headaches. One caveat though, As far as like realistic expectations, this is not going to be, it's going to taste good, but it's not going to taste as good as what you get in your local Chinese restaurant. I mean, they've got tools and techniques, and they have highly trained staff that you're not going to be able to duplicate at home. So nothing too crazy. So first we're going to start with the meat marinade. We need some garlic. We're going to use teriyaki sauce and peanut oil. And I recommend teriyaki sauce because a lot of Chinese recipes call for soy sauce and they want you to add sugar and they want you to add rice vinegar. A lot of that stuff is already in the teriyaki sauce. So that's one less step. And again, I'm recommending peanut oil. You can use canola oil if you want, but not olive oil because we're going to be cooking at a high temperature. So, 2 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce, a teaspoon of peanut oil. Don't forget the garlic, as I did in this video. And now we're going to cut across the grain. So I'm using cheap stew meat. If you get a better cut of beef, it'll taste better. But whatever you do, you want to cut across the grain. Pretend it's a piece of wood. You're cutting across the grain. And be careful with your fingers. Across the grain. Across the grain. And you can marinate it for at least 2 hours. Again, I prefer to do it overnight. So 2 hours later, or the next day, you're ready to cook. First thing, we're going to prepare the vegetables. I told you this was going to be quick. Key thing with the carrot is you're going to cut it into smaller pieces because it's a denser vegetable and it'll take a little longer to cook. Vegetables are ready. Now time for the finishing sauce. 3 ingredients: hot pepper powder, cornstarch, and a tablespoon of oyster sauce, half a teaspoon of cornstarch, a little hot pepper powder, finishing sauce is done. So we've got off to the side, we've got our marinated beef, we've got our vegetables, we've got our finishing sauce, and now it's time to cook. Tablespoon of peanut oil. Another tablespoon of peanut oil. Start with the onions, get them nice and soft. I told you this was going to be fast. Now brightly colored. Got the finishing sauce. Get the beef back in. Stir it around. Add a teaspoon of sesame oil. It gives it a nice fragrance. Remove it from the heat. And we're done. There's a finished product. Got some nice colors there.
And as we say in the old country,
Metsuyan. So here's the whole menu. Here's the whole recipe. It's up on our website. So it's basically half a page of the shopping list and the tools. Basically, you need a knife, a frying pan, and a spatula, and then the actual cooking instructions. Again, fast and easy. And here's the shameless promotion for my book, God Bless Cambodia. And it's about a never married hypochondriac who takes a trip around the world hoping to change his luck with love. So we've got a Boston homebody traveling around the world, and he goes through Southeast Asia, and he's sampling all the different dishes, and there's stir-fried snake, and there's roasted beetles, and other good stuff. That's it. Thank you. Back to you, Judah.
Thanks, Randy. You really got me. My appetite is really going, especially for the snakes and some of the other things you were describing in the book, in addition to the Chinese food you were preparing, which actually looked really good. So I guess would you deliver on Christmas Eve?
No, I don't. No,
all right.
Sorry, though.
I mean, I'd heard a rumor that if people get your book, then they get like a free dinner or something, but maybe that was just a rumor.
Actually, I'll deliver the book.
Oh,
the book I'll deliver.
Okay. Well, that's more than I do for my book. I'm happy to pop it in the mail.
Yeah, well, yours sells better. That's the.
That's it. Great. Well, thank you. And that was, wow, a real, it got me salivating. So now, again, we're going to be shifting gears a little bit. I'm introducing Matt Robinson, who is joining us. This is his first time as with the group here. And Matt is a writer and an educator. He recently published a fun book of facts from the Ivy League in honor of his late father, who went to Brown. And it can be enjoyed and explored by visiting lionstigersbulldogs.com. So www.lionstigersbulldogs.com deals with the mascots of various Ivy League schools and the stories connected to them. Now, Matt is going to take us to another part of Florida, not northern Florida, but the part of Florida where many members of the tribe seem to go. So thanks, Matt.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks all for coming. Thanks to the group for inviting me to join up. It's been great just having such wonderful, esteemed colleagues to hang out with. And as Judah said, I'm going to, through the magic of technology and a little bit of costume here, we're going to go to the part of Florida that maybe we all know well. Hello? Hello, Mort? No? Yeah, all's okay here. My back is hurting. My new knee is acting up. I can't get rid of this ring in my ear, and I got hemorrhoids like, oh boy, but I can't complain. In fact, the worst thing, I want to go see the grandkids for Hanukkah, but because of this fakakta COVID, I can't go. What do you mean, Zoom? You mean the TV show with those kids in the striped shirts? Oh, it's a computer thing that lets you talk to people far away. You mean like a phone? Oh, so you can see the person you're talking to. And you can even talk to more than one person at a time. Sounds neat. So new, how does it work? Oh, okay. You mean I gotta turn on the computer? All right, just a minute. It's in the box in the closet under my old sitz bath collection. Let me go get it. Okay. I got it. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we do here. Yeah. All right, so now what? I need to go to the internet. Okay. What's the internet? Oh, it's a thing that connects computers to the cloud? Mort, I live in Boca. The last time we had clouds, Eisenhower was in office. Oh, I see. It's not a real cloud. It's just... What kind of fakakta thing is that? When I was a boy, we had real things with real names. Nobody had time to name things that didn't exist. We couldn't afford them to begin with. All right. I'll go on the internet. You say there's pretty girls there? All right. I'll check it out. Oh, right. The grandkids, right. Okay. I think I'm on the internet. So what do? I download Zoom by typing zoom.com. All right. I'll try it. ZOOM DOO. Oh, I don't type dot. Oh, that's the period. Okay, let me try it again. Okay. ZOOM period COM. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do this, is there a fee for this? Oh, it's free for the first 45 minutes? Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, well, let's see. Oh, here I am. Zoom. Golly, 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 zoom. Golly, golly. Zoom. Golly, 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 zoom. Golly, golly. I just got this thing, and now I talk to my kids on my thing. I can talk to my kids. Forget the kids. Where are my grandchildren? Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly. Zoom, golly, 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 goom, golly, golly. It's a great new thing I got. Bertie, check out my great new thing. No, I don't mean my nurse. I mean this thing on my computer thing. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly. Now I'm talking to my son, and he looks like he's having some fun. With the kids all running round and all sorts of broken toys on the ground. I talk to my daughter-in-law. I figure once a year, hey, what the heck? She's trying to smile, but my granddaughter's biting her thighs. Such a cutie. Finally, here's my boy. He has ate his big bundle of joy. Now, what's going on? His face isn't moving. Now it's gone. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, what more? Zoom, golly, golly, zoom, Oh, apparently he froze. Yeah, Mort, you got it on the nose. But now he's back. Thank Hashem, I almost had a heart attack. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly. We've been on for half an hour. It seems I dragged my son out of the shower. But this thing is so neat. Who knew I could have such a treat? Finally, my granddaughter's on. Hey, Princess, too bad the free time on Zoom is almost gone. How are you, my little duck? I want to tell you how much What the? Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly. Mort, you still? Forget about it. And now, with another little costume change, if you'll pardon that, which will allow me to put my glasses on, another little Jewish holiday story, Hanukkah story that I wanted to share. Every year at this time, many of us are scrambling to think of things to do or to get for our friends and family. As I started my writing career in the music business, I would often try to come up with creative ways to combine songs that spoke to my relationship with each recipient of the resulting collection. They were called mixtapes, and many of us may remember giving and receiving them at the holidays or at other times of year for family, friends, and maybe even eventual significant others. While I always had plenty of options for my mixed music, I realized there are some categories and genres for which there aren't so many choices. Here, then, is a depiction of a friend of mine going through the record bins to find the perfect Christmas songs to share with his family and friends. Oh boy, it's almost Christmas. Time to make my annual tape for friends and family. And this year, I'm only going to have true Christmas classics sung by and written by people who celebrate Christmas along with me. Let's see what we have in the old vinyl collection. Who's this guy with the trumpet coming out of his beard? It says Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I'm not sure if my wall-loving parents will like this one. Let's keep looking. B, C, D. Oh, here's one. The Christmas Album by Neil Diamond. Wait a minute. Didn't he play a cantor in The Jazz Singer? Come to think of it, wasn't Cantor one of Santa's reindeer? Anyway, forget it. Let's keep looking. E, F, Kenny G. His music is great for roasting chestnuts on an open fire, which reminds me I need to include that song this year too. Only a true Christmas observer like me knows all the words. Let's see what's on this one. Oh, this album has a song for Hanukkah. Kind of reminds me of the Christmas pageants when I was a kid. They wanted to call them holiday concerts, but they only had one Hanukkah song. And there was that one year we had to do that Kwanzaa song, whatever that is. It also says that some of the songs were written and recorded by a guy named Kenneth Gorelick. I wonder how he and Kenny G met. Maybe at some interfaith event. Okay, let's look for some more. Oh, a Christmas album by Barry Manilow. How much more all-American and Christian can you get than the guy who literally wrote the songs? I just wonder who this guy B. Pincus is who gets writing credit for most of the tracks. Oh well, there's sure a lot of Christmas albums in the S section. Let's see what we have here. Phil Spector, I know him. He worked with Larry Levine and produced albums by those good Christian singers like the Ramon Brothers. And look here, 2 albums from Barbra Streisand. She's the woman who played that Jewish boy in that movie. You know, the one where she sings to the Holy Father, "Papa, can you hear me?" That should make a good start. Now it's time to put some true Christmas classics from the singles bin. Of course, we have to include White Christmas. I watch that movie every year. Bing Crosby with his Santa hat on, a real classic. Oh, look, this version was apparently recorded first in Berlin. It says under the song title, One, or I, Berlin. Here's one called Love for Christmas by Carole King. That sounds Christmassy, especially as her name celebrates the coming of the king, who we all love, right? I just wonder who this C.J. Klein is. Speaking of kings, I need to include at least one track from Elvis Aaron Presley. Now there's a true-blooded Christian. And here, look, the Ramones Brothers. The song is called Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight. What a perfect sentiment to share with family, especially after that Zoom debacle on Thanksgiving. And last but not least, the Christmas song. No Yuletide tape can be complete without this all-time Bob Wells classic as sung by Mel Torme. I think his full name was Melodious. What a great Christmas mixtape this is going to be. And in case you didn't get it, every artist mentioned is either Jewish or had Jews in their family. What a goyish a cup my friend is. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Matt, for that trip down memory lane. And yeah, what is it about, Jewish songwriters and Christmas? I guess there's a good market for those songs. So there we go. I actually, about 2 years ago, got a Bette Midler Cool Yule Christmas CD. So it seems to be a thing. So last but not least, I want to introduce Jason M. Rubin. Jason is the author of the book Ancient Tales Newly Told, a collection of his 2 historical novels put together in one. The newest one tells of the romance between King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. He also contributes music criticism to the Arts Views. Now tonight, Jason's going to be, speaking of songs, bemoaning the dearth of good Hanukkah songs. And then he's going to read us a poem about the holiday. So, Jason, take it away.
Sour cream. Applesauce. Sour cream. Applesauce. Sour cream. Applesauce. Sorry. Hey, I hate Hanukkah songs. And it's not just because Christmas songs are better. I don't buy into that inferiority complex thing. As long as I'm getting presents, I don't care whether the wrapping paper is blue and white or red and green. But I do care about music, and Hanukkah songs are just bad music. Even worse, though, are the words. I find that most Hanukkah songs are always about the tactical aspects of the holiday, lighting candles, spinning the dreidel. Nothing about what the holiday feels like or what it means. Christmas songs are about Jesus, which is unfair because our God wasn't born on Hanukkah. But they're also about home, winter, being with family, and peace and brotherhood. Christmas songs make you feel good. They give you a glimpse into a better world. But somehow they just don't transfer well to Hanukkah. Who has ever given a crap if we have a white Hanukkah? Silent Night? Are you kidding? Has there ever been a silent night in a Jewish household? Not that all Christmas songs are great. I mean, the most wonderful time of the year? Clearly Andy Williams never went to Walmart on Black Friday. Wham's Last Christmas? Look, don't give away your heart. It's a lousy gift. A kidney is more useful. Joy to the World. I prefer Three Dog Night's version. And the worst one is that Band-Aid tune, Do They Know It's Christmas? Do they know? How about do they care? They're starving. No wonder the Falashas left to go to Israel. But that dreidel song is just the worst song ever. Worse than Dan Hill's Sometimes When We Touch or anything by Neil Diamond. I have a little dreidel. I made it out of clay. Show me a clay dreidel. Show me one. I have wooden dreidels. I have plastic dreidels. Never seen or used a clay dreidel before. Plus, dreidel is so damn fun. Who wants to wait until it's dry and ready? I mean, I'd lose my mind if I had to wait to play dreidel. I can't even wait. There is one decent song about dreidels. It's called Dreidel, and it was written and performed by Don McLean of all people, the American Pie guy. But it's not about Hanukkah. The first lines are, I feel like a spinning top or a dreidel. The spinning don't stop when you leave the cradle. You just slow down. You see, he just needed a word that rhymed with cradle. Hey, Don, how about fatal? I went looking for Hanukkah songs to like. I found two pretty good ones, and one I actually like a lot. I know some of you are thinking, Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song must be one of the three. Well, it's not. I hate it. I hate him, and I hate it. It's not funny after the 800th time you've heard it. And besides, his voice makes me want to sew my foreskin back on and join the other side. Now, of the two pretty good ones, one is Light One Candle by Peter, Paul, and Mary. The first verse is on point. Light one candle for the Maccabee children with thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. But then the song becomes a typical Kami Pinko social justice song, and it ends with the line, don't let the light go out. Come on, watching the Hanukkah candles melt down is the best part. The other one that's pretty good is a parody song. But parody songs don't really count. They're just novelties. I'll play you a minute and a half of one that's pretty good. Give me just a second here. Yeah, come on. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Oh, freeze. Hold on. Got to get the ad out of the way. Let me stop the share while I get the ad out of the way. One of the problems with
would walk up to me and just be like,
there we go. We're ready to rock now. All right. Back to the screen share. This is so fun. Mort was right. All right, we're ready to rock. And roll.
Is this the eighth night? We light with family. Recall with great pride our escape from great tyranny. Kindle the lights. Remember the Maccabees. How did those fallen boys lead us to victory? They stood up against mighty foes with their oil running low. Now we sing the lights glow. Maosor Yeshuati.
Oh, yes. Now, I did find one truly great Hanukkah song. It's called 8 Days by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. May her memory be for a blessing. Here's a bit of trivia. The saxophonist for the Dap Kings was Neil Sugarman from Newton, Massachusetts. I went to Newton South High School and Camp Avoda with him. He is one funky Jew. I don't know if he had a hand in writing or choosing this song, but Sharon Jones delivers the goods, and it actually makes Hanukkah seem kind of hip. Here's a 2-minute excerpt. Back to the screen share. Oh, I gotta get rid of this one. How confusing. Here we go.
Days of love, days of hate, days of Hanukkah. Every one of them calls love. Days of Hanukkah. Every one of them calls love. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, day 1. Time to light a candle. For those Maccabee whose orbit burn and burn. Time to spin a cradle and hope that Bingo shows up on my turn. Fry a bunch of latkes with applesauce, sour cream, and all. We're cooking up the brisket. The kosher butchers on my uncle's store. I like it on the pizza. Let's leave the man and shepherds on the shelf. Give for the children $5 tip from great grandma's cell. Let a whole bunch of candles. Gotta keep that shamas going right to left all the way until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Days of love, days of hate, days of Hanukkah, days of love, days of Hanukkah, every one of them love.
So there you go. That's the Hanukkah song that I like. I'd like to close the evening with a change in tone and a personal poem I wrote just for this event called Lights in the Darkness. It was inspired actually by my ex-mother-in-law, a Jewish woman who found the conservative Judaism in which she was raised to be too restrictive. She became a Unitarian and always explained to me that her observance of Christmas was being about bringing light into the darkness. So this is Lights in the Darkness. Silver stars in a winter night light the sky and sparkle on the snow. Headlights, brake lights, and traffic lights slow me down. Impatience wears my soul. Porch lights draw my exhausted eyes, call me home where family awaits. Memory takes me back in time when I, the child, was made to wait for Dad. Nothing could begin until he arrived. Anticipation climbed. The year I got a hockey stick, yes, unwrapped, I watched him bring it in. Other gifts were kept upstairs, a mad dash to find that night's treasure. Kids are all the same, of course. It's the gift, not the giver, who counts. But I don't mind that at all. It's their glow on their faces that counts. Reaching the house, I think of Mom, her light gone. All lights are fragile things. Windows framing the light and warmth. Step inside. My children run to me. Candles standing in patterned line. Strike the match. The light glows on us all. Thank you. Back to you, Judah.
Jason, yeah, the light. We all, I think this year, especially in this time in 2020, I'm convinced 2021 is going to be better. That's probably a low bar, but but let's, start somewhere. But the light in the darkness, it's a great theme. And the thing is that I think, again, all traditions, we all, I think, need light at this dark time of year. So thank you for Jason for sharing that light, and also for the funky Dap Kings Hanukkah song, which got me moving, got me dancing. And I actually do like Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song, but it did get a little old after I heard it about 3,800 times. I don't particularly like his movies, though, so I'm sympathetic to where you're coming from. But anyway, so this was I think we had a little bit of everything tonight, and of course it wouldn't have happened without you all. I want to just remind you that if you want to sample some of our work, go to NEIAC.org. Randy's going to put that in the chat, NEIAC.org. And again, the books, they make great gifts for Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, Decoration Day, basically anything, any holiday you want to celebrate.
Thanks for joining us, and keep an eye out for our next events at NEIAC.org, NEIAC.org. Thanks for coming. Bye.